I don't remember this guy. I played this game recently and I still don't remember who Prince Woodville is.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and
bagpipe player.
Might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Door opened by itself.
Mr. Holmes, how did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Yeah, look. You can see how the camera is just journeying away. It's just gurning. It's gurning away. It's weird. Why? Slander.
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true.
Yeah, I bet you don't.
Of course.
I'm blaming you, Barnes.
Myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
Is it, though? A dowry is basically her way of marrying into his family, isn't it? Like, it's such a weird thing to do. I know, and they don't really do dowries anymore, do they? You know, where you, oh, I'm going to marry this person. Oh, you have to give him all this shit before they'll marry you. It's like, what? It's so weird.
Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewellery?
What?
Why?
I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
How do you not realize that this is the fake? It's clearly a fake. For a start, there's 3 gold beads here, and then there's this one brown one.
This pearl is a different color. These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Of course it's bloody fake. I know what's ever missing. I think that's the size, isn't it? Yeah, there it is.
This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake.
It's obvious fake.
Nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation?
Because you're an idiot.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
What's in 𝘱𝘦𝘴𝘭𝘮𝘮 as well? It's ever so slightly when you're standing still, but it's so weird. I don't know why they decided to have your character just slowly move around. It's weird. I don't like it. You can't turn it off. But yeah. Oh yeah, I should mention that Holmes in this, it comes off as a bastard. He his attitude is very, very cruel and vindictive. There's reasons for that, so yeah. Don't let his attitude that he's doing now bother you too much. There's reasons. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just saying there's a reason why he acts like a bastard. But yeah, that's part of the story, man.
I have found your...
No spoilers. To the Diocese. This is the part where it gets a bit gory.
The police? Already? How did you know?
Can I guy's hat?
See the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
I warned you. Quite a bit gory this part is.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The Bishop, appallingly mutilated.
My God.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed, it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
Make the right deductions based on the facts you have. Not like I have any for now. It's 2s. He had nothing to steal. This guy's funny.
You have no right to search here.
I really don't have the right to search here. This guy's really skinny. Like, if you look at him from the side, it looks like he just vanishes. He needs to eat more fucking dinner, you do, mate. Anyway. A lot of stuff to look at around here. You can't do much with it, though, unfortunately. Not yet. What? I'm looking at the table.
A surgical scalpel
Oh.
covered in blood.
Is there supposed to be audio there? That's weird. Spent a bloody long time staring at that, that scalpel.
Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange.
I've never don't give you the key.
Might I have the key?
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson.
Yes, Watson. Just do your job, Watson.
This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
He's already lying to me. There's a chair in here as well. More is he lying?
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here.
Doesn't look comfortable, that bed doesn't. There's no sheets. You're supposed to cover yourself up when it gets cold. This room will be bollocks cold. It's just stone. And I bet it's bloody drafty.
It is impossible to get out.
I don't think I'd like to sleep with a cross above my bed. What if it slips off and kills me when I'm asleep? I'll be always concerned. Hello?
This metal rod is for fastening the chalice.
Oh my god.
It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop wore it as repentance.
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance.
Maybe he just gets off on that. What fucking awful thing to do to yourself.
The picture of Peregrine Maitland, commander of the infantry brigade of Her Majesty's Guards at Waterloo.
The Bishop of Knightsbridge has the same name as his ancestor, an illustrious family.
Just because he shares the same name doesn't mean that he's illustrious himself. He's just riding on the coattails of his ancestor. I mean, this guy... I bet this guy didn't fight in a war, just like this dude did. And then, to be honest, this guy probably didn't even fight in a war. He probably sat on a horse and ordered people to do shit.
This stove is filled to overflowing.
Do we look at the body in a second? Putting it off.
There is blood on this paperweight.
Okay.
A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt.
I think that's roughly it. Is this
A
here?
broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety. It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
It's not necessarily. Maybe he likes to drink and he just doesn't tell anyone.
A broken phial and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Phew. Chemical components, I think.
I think that's roughly it. Can't do anything with that.
Reverend, I'm missing something. An implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No, go to the devil!
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
This guy's obviously hiding something. Right, let's examine the body, shall we? Let's look at his fate. Oh.
These burns are terrible.
This poor man was tied just below the knees.
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly to free his feet.
His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
You! But what does it matter, Holmes?
First impression, he has a size 9 shoes.
A
Brilliant.
piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
The finger there.
A finger. Apparently, it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
How dreadful.
Somebody just dropped a finger on the floor. Yeah, so these scenes can be quite, you can miss things in these scenes if you're not careful. But normally when it turns green, it means that you've successfully done something correct. Oh my god, what's with his fucking hands?
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
My God, Holmes, this man was horribly tortured.
I'm guessing that's from the paperweight. Hence why it's covered in blood.
His forearms have been ripped. Pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the wounds.
Someone was numbing on him.
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers.
I think, is that it for this area? We've pressed this. Nothing to do. Okie. Guess we've got to look at his face.
His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade. There isn't any doubt the wounds on the bishop were administered with this scalpel.
And
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth. My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes.
if he was hungry. Is that it? Feels like I'm missing something. Eh. Yeah, I think that's it for that.
Something's missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing.
Oh yeah, just realised, where are his shoes? Oh.
Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information than the very best of informants.
Yes, if you know how to make them talk, that is.
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in, and those of our dear Reverend who was so impatient to call the police.
So I think with this, you just have to click on the footprints. You don't have to like measure them like you did in the previous games. Yeah.
Size 9.
There's one there. This one's different.
Size 9. Size 9.5. Nothing of interest. A fragment of stone. Peculiar. Well-worn shoes with an odd pattern on the soles. Hobnail boots like those worn by labourers. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. It is not a labourer's shoe.
Then you click on the questions. How many criminals were there? There's 3.
Perfect. We now know that there were 3 crooks.
Since 3 different types of shoes. Expensive ones, worn ones, and labourer's shoes. What did the footprints reveal? One man joined, all men left jumping on one leg. That's definitely that. One man left wearing different shoes.
Strange but true. One of the crooks was wearing a different pair of shoes when he left here. Therefore, we have 3 men who came in and left again, but one of them was wearing a different pair of shoes from the ones which he came in with.
So, all we have to do is look for a workman who likes Italian shoes.
Well, logically speaking, there would be the Reverend, the bishop's shoes, wouldn't he? This guy doesn't wear labourer's shoes. Even though he's like, oh, I have nothing of value. This room says that he's quite well off. You know what I mean?
I cannot leave now.
I think that's roughly it. We can't go in these rooms. If we spam space and not look at the door. Yeah. Just that there. Yeah, so I think the only thing we can do now is use the deduction board. I'll do this first. Okay. We'll start from the beginning. Black. The bishop's shoes are missing. One of the murderers left in a different shoe. He left wearing the bishop's shoes. We kind of know that's obvious. The murderers are poor. So shoes, one of the murderers came back for his shoes. Definitely poor. Wealth. The bishop didn't own anything of value, not even in his safe. We don't know that, because we don't know what's in the safe. Veranda. The veranda wasn't searched. Murderers were looking for something specific, got the wrong person, or took the... No, they were looking for something specific. Murderers were hired by someone. It's the only one that makes sense. And then when you get everything right, it makes them all green. Yay! This is the same as the deduction boards from Jack the Ripper. These are slightly more simplified and easier. The ones in Jack the Ripper were like stupidly complicated. Like, if you didn't listen to every piece of information, sometimes you'd just be like, what? Oh god, my times I've played that game and I still struggle sometimes on the deduction boards. The victim was savagely tortured. The bishop was mortifying himself. He was used to pain. Resisted? Murderers came to kill. Murderers didn't get what they wanted.
Perfect. It is evident that the Bishop of Knightsbridge's killers were after something specific, and that they did not find it. Reverend, I shall ask you one more time. Open the chest. The item they were seeking must still be inside. It is unlikely that they will let this matter rest. They will most certainly return to finish what they started.
And I'm telling you once more, the chest is locked and shall remain so.
Very well. We have reached an impasse. You are a stubborn man, Reverend. Watson, accompany our friend to the police station and return with Inspector Baines. Baines and no one else. I shall wait for you here. Go. Alone at last. Now I can continue my investigation.
Oh. I thought that panned out differently. I remember you... Maybe you're thinking of somebody else. I remember him running away and he tells Watson to go after him. Maybe that's later. Strange. What items have we got? Oh god. Manky finger. A rope. Some stone. Flask. Sticks and scalpel. I think we use the metal stick to get in here.
This lock should be easy to pick. Let's see.
So this is a new type of minigame that's new to this Sherlock Holmes in a way. You have to obviously follow the obvious... So you should be able to see that. It's like the obvious pattern. You just have to make it with this. So it's straight, down, straight down, up, up.
There we are. It is simplicity itself.
Well, the game basically tells you what this correct pattern is.
There isn't anything much in this room. It must be used as a reading or meditation room.
Oh, it's a nice room. The yoga in here.
An ink stain, quite fresh. This stain is just on the edge of the rug. Let's see. There is nothing on the floor, yet the ink must have soaked through the rug.
Well, as you can see here, the ink spilled from here, so that means that somebody turned the rug around.
This inkwell was tipped over recently. An ink stain. The ink stain on the floor comes from the ink on the rug, but they are not in the same place. Someone has moved the rug recently. That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. Certain stones have been marked out, just like a chessboard.
I need something.
That is curious. There is something strange on the floor. I need something.
Of course he does. Always need something. So when I first played this game, I had no idea what I was missing. So I wandered around aimlessly for a while, spamming space, thinking that I missed something. But what I didn't realize is that there's something right here. Quite obvious when you see it now, but yeah.
To hide this statue.
It's a knight.
Resembles a large chess piece.
Yoink.
There is a message underneath this statue. Let's see.
What a lack of imagination. Use your passion for chess. The last square on which the knight will place himself after having covered all the others will be the right one. I love you. Unknown message.
This message was written by a woman, but for whom was it intended? Interesting, this chess game.
chess game, which is here. So this puzzle is, it's simple when you know this solution for it, but I can remember spending a lot of time trying to figure out the right pattern, because you have to, obviously, a knight in chess moves in L shapes, like this, or you know. So there's only, it can go here, and it can go here. I think that's the only place a knight can go. There, yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, obviously the hand changes when you can go somewhere. But you'll get to a point where they can't make any more moves, and then it will reset itself. And you have to do that over and over again. So the solution that I remember doing was you go round in a circle and slowly get to the correct one. So if my solution is correct from what I remember doing, it should be like this.
This last piece should be the good one. It will have to be pulled free.
I think just like that.
I need something.
And then he needs to pull it free, so with the knife. Oh, here we go. The Reverend's hidden letters. Oh, Reverend is supposed to be celibate. This Reverend's got a girlfriend. 24th of April. My love, what a beautiful spring and what a marvellous day. Our dear youngest child's birthday. It's got bloody kids. Every moment is so precious as our child blossoms, and without a doubt he will soon be talking. I'm sure that his first words will be for you. He misses you so much, as do I. Are you sure you cannot get away on Sunday after Vespers? I thought that... 14th of September. My darling, I know that you think I'm insistent, but we absolutely must legitimize our union. We cannot live in sin all our lives. Rest assured, my dear, that I understand your position is not easy, but have you thought of ours? Child's and mine. I cannot allow our child's future to be compromised. Think about it, my love. What is a so-called scandal next to the well-being of your family? We must become husband and wife legally to finally form a real eclipses. Or ellipses. Ellipses, isn't it? Not eclipses. Stupid me. So this Reverend knocked up some bird, and he just like, yeah, bye. He's a
packet of letters addressed to the Reverend. They were written by a woman who mentions his illegitimate children. Their affair isn't official. Perfect.
Wow.
I have you now, my wayward Reverend.
Yes. Time to blackmail our way to victory, I guess.
Ah, Watson. You were gone a terribly long time, and Inspector Baines isn't with you.
I'm afraid not, Holmes. We were unable to find him.
Dr. Watson would not allow me to contact any inspector other than this Baines. What manners! I am a man of the church.
My dear Reverend, I notice that you are a chess lover. I trust you will excuse me, but I am never able to resist the appeal of a half-finished game.
You are an expert at chess. Very well, then. What do you want now?
As you might have guessed, resolving your small chess problem has allowed me to discover some very interesting letters.
Letters? What do they say?
Reverend, why hide these letters here and run the risk of the bishop finding them?
Holmes, what's in the letters?
Not now, Watson.
Where else could I have hidden them? My own chambers are too austere. They could offer no cover. I knew, however, that His Excellency, may he rest in peace, would not notice my game.
The contents of the Bishop of Knightsbridge's chest interest me greatly. Give me the elements you hold, Reverend.
Out of the question.
Blackmail him. Hell yeah.
I am a gentleman, and it would distress me to be obliged to pass this correspondence across to your superiors.
Holmes, I know that the end justifies the means, but allow me to express some reservations about how you are proceeding.
You say you're a gentleman, but I hear nothing but the words of a blackmailer. The stems that you are looking for are scattered about this room. Manage by yourself.
Wow. That's different. threatened to blackmail him, and it's like, no, mate, do it yourself. He normally gives you them. Oh god, I don't even know where they would be. And I'm gonna pick the nice approach because I don't like Sherlock when he's a bastard.